The purpose of this video is to cover the finite element analysis or the stress analysis for an Inventor part. Here I just have a simple piece of flat bar stock. It's 1/8 of an inch thick, 1 inch wide, and 3 inches long. After I have the part modeled, all I need to do is click on stress analysis, and then from here I'm going to go to create simulation. For this particular exercise, I'm just going to do a single point static analysis, so all I have to do is select OK. Now there's three things that are required for each of the analysis that you're going to do. The first thing is the material, so I'm just going to right click on material and go to assign materials. And in the dialog box under override material, this is where I'm going to select the material that I want to test. In this case I'm going to be testing stainless steel 440C, and I'll go ahead and say OK. Now, the next thing that I need is I need to identify which face of this or which surface of this is going to be the fixed surface. So for this example, I am going to use this back surface right here. So I'm going to go to my fixed constraint, and then I'm going to select this face and say OK. So now here underneath the constraints, I can see that I have a fixed constraint on that face. The next step is to apply the load. Now the way the load is going to work is I can either apply a force or I can apply a pressure. And in the pressure case, this applies the force uniformly across the entire selected surface. On force, it applies it specifically to the center of the face. So in this case, I'm going to apply a force. And then for the force, I'm just going to select this top face, and it's automatically going to pick the center of the top face for applying the force for me. And I'm just going to do a 10-pound force in the downward direction. So I'm going to go ahead and say OK to that. Now if I look over here in my browser, I can see that I have loads force 1. So that's all the information that I need to actually test. So at this point I can run the simulation. So I'm going to go to simulate and then click run. Now if this fails, that means the part failed. But in this case we can see that we get a result, and this is the von Mises stress analysis. And it's an adjusted, so it's exaggerated a little bit. The outline that we see right here is actually the design part, and then the bend down that we see is the deformation that we're looking at and the stresses involved. So I can change this and I can say actual, and this will show me the actual deformation, which if we zoom in real close, you can see that the actual deformation is much less than it appears in the larger video. The beauty of this software is I can then animate this so I can watch exactly how this part is going to deform. So I'm going to just hit the play button, and now I can see that it's going up and down. I can slow down the speed as well so that I can watch what's happening at a slower speed, and I can see exactly how the forces are being applied across the object. Even if I orbit this around, I can see where the greatest amount of force is being applied. And I also have the option to record the stress analysis. Now this is the first part of the analysis that we're looking for. In addition to actually doing the strength analysis, we need to do a report on this. So to do the report, we just click on the report button. And once we click on the report button, I'm just going to run a complete report. It's going to be a stress analysis report, and I'm the author, so I'll go ahead and say OK. Now what the software is going through and doing is it's running all of the different analyses. It's going through the first and third principal stresses, and it's going through all the different options. And then here you can see it comes up with my stress analysis report. It gives me the physical characteristics, it tells me about the simulation, it gives me my mesh settings, it gives me all of the information for my material, it gives me the force location, it gives me the fixed constraint location, and then it gives me my results. And here's my results summary. This is the most important piece of information in this, because this gives you all of the information in a chart form that all of the illustrations below show. So here's all of my von Mises stress. Here's my first and third principal stresses, the displacement, the safety factors, the stresses across all of the different axes, and on with all of the different report outs for this particular part. So any information that I'm looking for can be gathered very quickly just by going through here and generating this report. And I could even come in here and I can print this as a PDF, or I can print it out and save it, or I can just right click on any of these images and do a save image as. So I can get all of the information that I need on the report from this location.